How's it going, everybody? This is Double Wide 6, and in the garage today I got a Honda HR 214. This mower I think was made from about 1984 up through 1989, and this is the third one of these things that I've gotten. They are great mowers. I think they're actually a commercial mower, and usually start in one pull. This one, it's missing this guard here that covers up the part of the transmission, so I think I can get that on eBay. And also the starter is broken. It was missing the 3 metric bolts. I think they're metric 10s that go in there, but luckily I had some bolts laying around, and if I ever get an engine or a mower that doesn't work, I'll usually strip down the bolts, and if they're metric I keep them in a certain container. It just makes things a lot easier. So the first thing we're going to do is show you guys how to fix this pull start, and if we're lucky, might start right up. We'll see. Alrighty guys, taking a look at the starter. First of all, you can see the rope already broke once. The previous homeowner tied a knot there. Also, when the dogs pull out right here, if I look in here, I can see that there's like mud in there, and it's kind of a little bit worn. So I think what I want to do, instead of just recoiling this thing and shortening the handle to that knot, I'm going to completely replace the rope and rewind the starter for you. So to begin, we have a bolt that's 10 millimeter, and we're going to carefully remove this bolt. Now that the 10 millimeter bolt is loose, we can pull that out, and there's a little plate that hides the dogs, and you can see the dogs are in there. And if you look, it's really dusty, and if you look really closely, you can see where Honda ties their knot for their starter rope. So we're gonna have to dig the rope out of there and clean up some of this dust. I'm gonna pull the rope, and I'm carefully just gonna keep my thumb here so the spring doesn't wind up, and I just want to extend this rope all the way out, and that's as far out as it goes. And now at this point, I'm going to take just a quick clamp like this, and we're gonna actually clamp it right on here. Just snug it up, not too tight, and that should just prevent the spring from winding up. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the rope, and I'm gonna try and dig it out of here, and this is where the knot actually is, and that's in there pretty good. It looks like I need a screwdriver. So I've lifted up the knot a little bit with a screwdriver. Now I'm just taking some forceps here and pulling the knot out so I have access to the rope. And at this point, I'm gonna clip the rope off. So take that knot and we'll just snip it. And now I can pull the rope straight out of here. So using the old rope as a guide, I've cut my new rope to the same length as the old rope. Actually, it's about 2 inches longer. And I'm just going to take a lighter, and we're going to heat up the ends. This will prevent them from fraying. And I'm licking my fingers, and I'm quickly just smoothing out that end so it has a point on there. That's going to make it easy to thread it through. And we'll do the same thing on the other end. So just heat it up a little bit, lick your fingers, and quickly work it into a point, and that'll make things a lot easier for threading it through the holes. The next step is going to be to thread the starter rope through this hole here. There's a real tiny hole down in here. I'm going to begin by using a little bit of penetrating oil, and that'll just help the rope sort of slide through there. And then we're gonna take our rope and push it down into the hole. There it goes. And we're gonna try and work it through here till it comes out the opposite end. And it's coming out right where it's actually supposed to. And I'll just grab some forceps. Here's our rope end. A little hard for you guys to see. Now I got it. And we're just going to pull that through. And then it's going to go through the second hole and out where the handle attaches. So that's how it goes in there. And we're going to pull that through. And we're going to tie our knot right on the end. So for the knot, I'm just going to wrap it around. I usually do one loop and then stick it through one more time and pull it real tight like that. And sometimes I even grab it with the pliers to tighten up the knot. So now I'm just going to take some compressed air. Clean off those dogs. And once again, I'm going to spray a little bit of penetrating oil in here. That should help with the springs. Try and keep them from rusting. And last thing we need to do is reattach our top nut here, but I'm going to blow this out as well because there's dust all over it. And I'll put a little oil on that. This one looks like it's going to require a little bit of a rag cleaning to get some of that dirt out of there. Sometimes dirt building up in there, it's going to cause the stress on the springs and that, and you know, the more and more you pull the rope, eventually the rope will break. So maybe if this would have been kept clean, the previous owner wouldn't have had a rope break. You'll notice there's a spring that wraps around here. This spring straddles this part of the dog, so I'm just going to put that on in the proper position. And we'll take our 10mm bolt and we'll tighten that up. Before we let the spring recoil, I'm just going to thread on the handle. So I put it through the bottom of the handle. We're going to tie the exact same knot, which is just kind of a single loop through, and then I double it up just as a precaution, and then we'll pull that nice and tight. Just like that. And once again, I'll take the pliers and we'll give it a yank. So that looks good. Now we should be able to see if this thing recoils. So I'm going to release the clamp. Remember, it's still under pressure. That's why that clamp was on there. And we're letting this go back. And looks like it's not going all the way back. So we're going to have to tighten the spring. So here's how we're going to tighten the spring. First thing we're going to do is there's a red tang here. We're going to take that and we're just going to carefully bend that up out of the way. It's pretty flexible metal. We're going to take the rope, we're going to pull it all the way out. And once it gets all the way out, I'm just going to hold this thing so it doesn't recoil. We're going to take a screwdriver. We're going to reach in here and we want to pop our rope up like this, bring some slack out, and we want to turn, we're tightening the spring, so I want to turn it kind of counterclockwise here. And what I want to do is I want to work this spring all the way back until I can get my rope in this little dimple that they have for us. So I'm going to carefully put my rope in that dimple, and we're going to try and go around one revolution. And what we're actually doing is we're tensioning the spring. So I'm pulling that spring all the way around back to the beginning, and we're going to see if that's tight enough. And we're going to carefully let this thing rewind, and it's not quite tight enough. We have about 6 more inches to go, so we're going to try and do that a second time. So we'll pull it all the way out, and we're going to pop our rope out of here like this. We're going to try and get to that little dimple so we can fit our rope through. There's our dimple, and we're going to go around a second time. Spring's starting to get pretty tight, but it hasn't bottomed out yet. There's our second loop, and that should be enough to do it. So we're carefully working it back, and as you can see, that snugged it up enough that it's going all the way back in, and that's good. Now we're just going to take that tang and we'll bend it over the way it was. That helps keep the rope from bunching up there. And I'd say we're good to go. We should be able to install this on the mower, and we'll try and start the mower, see if it starts. According to the owner, he said as soon as you fix this, it'll start. Usually that's not true, but we'll find out. So we're just going to attach our starter. It's 3 bolts. They're metric 10s. So we're going to try this thing out. This is a true cold start. According to the homeowner, this thing ran last year, and then you know, the rope broke and then it didn't run. So who knows? We'll try and start it, see what we get. So I'm just going to choke it, and we'll give it a pull or two, see what we get. Let's see if there's fuel in it. Little bit of fuel. Well, it looks like it'll be a runner. That was just on choke, so I'll let it warm up. I think it'll be fine. So as you can see, the mower kind of lived up to its name, started right up. You know, it hadn't been started for a while. I had it running on choke. It's only about, I don't even think it's 7 a.m. here, so I don't want to wake up my neighbors. But yeah, this thing will run pretty well. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm double wide 6, and if you have a Honda HR214 and you really like that mower, let me know in the comment section. I think this is a great mower with the it's lightweight, it's rear wheel drive, has a strong transmission, it bags nice, starts right up. You know, I've had, this is the third one that I have, and I actually use it for mowing most of my lawns, you know, like in by the pools and that type of stuff. It's a good mower. Alright, so I'm double wide 6. Check out my channel, and thanks for watching. We'll see you.